So, in that video, I will tell you about our educational system. I will tell you my personal experience with that, which are the things from which I go through. This will be the video which will be about me from that educational system. So that will be a long video in which you will learn many things from which I go through, which I have faced. So I hope this video will help you, or if you will be like me, then you can relate with me. When I was just 3 years old, my parents sent me to the school. At first, I cry a lot. I don't want to go there. Obviously, as a kid, we don't want to go from our parents. So it was a very common thing for most of the people. Small kids like me, they will cry, but for some time they cry, but then later on they adjust in that whole system. But I'm a different kind of person. I'm a different guy. I'm not from other kids like they are. I'm not an ordinary guy. I cried till the 6th grade in my life, and I don't know how to tell you about this whole feeling. I just want to I can just give you the idea what I think when I was kid about that educational system. When we first go to our schools, when we enter, then we have a normal playground in most of the schools. Then we have classes. What I personally feel, which is in my mind, is I personally think that these people which are in my school, they are disconnecting us. So I just feel that. And first impression when I go to school, when I see these classes, and I think that at the first, when I was kid, that I think like exactly like a prison, because I have seen a movie where all of the people are in that one cage, and there are a lot of people except teachers, because in our school we have teachers. But sorry, in these jails, in these prisons, there are guards which are in front of the gate. So long story short, as a kid, I think is these people, that school is disconnecting me from my parents. So that's why most of daily on the daily basis I cry. And when I first go to school, in the class, it was a proper, like, I don't know how, but it was, the experience which I get is very, very bad. I was just seeing around me. There are kids like me. They are, but we don't have permission to talk with each other. We don't have to permission to go without our teacher's permission. We don't have permission to raise a question. Personally, I am a guy, I'm a person who thinks a lot, and who has a lot of questions, because my mind is a very curious mind from a childhood. So the 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 way our educational system treat me is very differently, because when we are sitting in class and there is a conversation, then I just raise my hand and I ask teacher question. And what they do is, they just say me, shut up, you don't have any kind of sense, sit down and don't talk with us. You can talk with us. So they just don't want me to talk. That's why that's the first impression from which I don't like that. It has given me a negative side. It has given me a very negative image of that school. And also, I was very introvert back then. So I don't have many friends. Before school, can you believe, every day till the grade of 6th, every day I just cry before going to school, and my parents know that. They know that he is crying, he don't want to go school, but they send me there in belief, in hope that one day I will get better. So long story short, when I go to school, I don't like that. My parents know that psychologically I was a very depressed. I was a very depressed kid who was just in a thinking that how he would not go to school. When I go to school, first 3 periods are obvious for me to cry, to remember my parents, and I talk all of the people that I want to go school, I want to go home, but they just ask me why. When I told them I don't want to live here, the people are not treating me which like people are not treating me nicely, and that whole system basically, it's for me it was very different. I don't like, but for other it was not a very big thing, and that was a thing which hurt me for a very long time. That was the reason I was not fit into that system, and I was very some most of the time I just think why everyone is just not answering. Like if there's a question, if our teacher or someone will be talking about wrong thing, when I ask questions about them, then they don't give me answer. Instead they embarrass me in front of a whole class. So I go through with a very bad trauma. I don't it is the worst period of time which I have spent in my life, and I was totally depressed. I was in anxiety and I was introvert, and I don't know how to talk because these people they don't want me to talk. That's the reason. And but as a person, I'm a very curious person. I think a lot of times, and the questions is which I raise to most of the people. These are very difficult questions, and I remember one day I asked my teacher that why are we sitting in our class, why we could not why we could not learn in a different way. Like every teacher they came to our class, they teach us in whiteboard, and they just say us to cram, to 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 learn. They just say us to remember, but if we don't remember they will beat us. So I asked that question to our teacher. What he did, sorry, she, so she was a she was a teacher. So I raised that question, and I just say, why are we just not allowed to do things from which we can learn more better? What she did is she just beat me from a scale, and on that day I made a decision that that's not a system for me. I am built, and it's very, because my parents were also curious about that. They also work, they were consistently counseling me. When I go to home, then my parents ask me, why are you like that, and why you don't, like, why are you not, why you cry? Basically they ask me most of the time, why you cry? I don't tell them why, because I feel that, and I have realized that if I tell them that these are the people who are not treating me like that, these are the teachers, then they will ask to them. But when they will ask to them, then these teachers will give all, they'll not just, they just put on or put more pressure on me. So that was my logic at that time. I don't tell to anyone. It was a very, I don't know if someone will relate with that. From the age of 3 till the age of 12 or 13, that was the period of time for me in which I just spend time with myself, thinking how to escape with that system, how to escape, how to not go with that system. Because I have told you that that was not built for me personally. I don't like that. The people to which I ask questions, they give me lame excuses. They don't give me answers which I want, or they just embarrass me. They just they don't want to be there. Because I was a little bit different. I ask many questions because I was a curious kid. So that's why these people think that I am not respectable with them. And because then I have made a decision then that i don't do I don't do things which are straight. I don't do things which most of the people do. And I just do things which I love. And from childhood, I don't remember a day when I have completed a homework properly for that particular teacher. I was not following a path which most of the people choose. I am not going in the way where most of the people go. And I just doubt. I just think, why these people are not raising these kind of questions. And most of the time when I ask people, I ask my teacher that why are we learning that? What's the purpose of that learning? What is the purpose of learning these things? What are the practical use case? And when I ask these kind of questions, and people, my teacher don't have answers. When I was very young, when I was child, then they just give me lame excuses and they disrespect me in front of a whole class. I don't find any answer with from them. And my parents was very curious that why I am like that. And they have done a lot of things with me psychologically. They were thinking, because psychologically I was a very different guy from most of the kids. That's why they are very curious why I am acting like that. So they ask me a lot of times. They were counseling me most of the times, but I don't tell them because I have a fear in my mind. I was going through a very depressing trauma, so that I don't feel better to tell them. But all of these things were changed. Suddenly there was a shift in my behavior when I have understood that I have to go through with that. I have to I have to just face that. So how I can overcome with that, how I can make myself more better with that. Then I just started working on myself, on learning many things in except schools. So these are the things which I want to say you, that our educational system, they are not making people, they are not making people like me, like most of the successful people. They are making slaves. They are making people who know nothing. And I just feel better and blessed most of the time that I don't choose that path. I don't go with that flow where most of the people go. And I was just doing many different things while studying. While till now, unfortunately, I am in the college. But when I was in school, and at that time, I was learning many things which are very different, because I don't believe in that system. I don't like that educational system. That's why I was working on myself, working on my mental, working on my learnings, working on learning more new skills. That's the thing which I think. These are my personal experience with that educational system. That's why I think I am not a person to be in that. But there is a very funny thing, which is my parents thinks that I am a kid who is better at learning, who is better at studying, because I don't present my real self to them for a very long time, for really very long time. So they were thinking that in their mind I'm a very obedient guy. I'm a guy who is very obedient, who do all of his work. But in general, in real, I don't do any homework. I don't do i don't follow my i don't follow teacher's instruction, and I don't get any valuable advice from, I don't remember, from my teacher back then in the school. So that's why I am very different, and I am very different kind of guy, which I think. And they, in my parents, I was this type of a guy who is very obedient, who study. But what I do is, before one day of exam, I just study. That's the only thing which I do, and that's how I get numbers. Or I just want to say that for those who are listening, who felt like a little bit relatable with me, and who are like that, who are not like with other people, which most of them do. And because I have seen a lot of trauma in my life in that period of time, would you believe I I cry from the age of, from my first class till the age of, till the 6th grade. That was a very difficult time which I have spent. And I think that's the thing which, it was a very dark time for me, which I have spent in that educational system. But later on, I meet people who are like me. I met with people who become my friend, who have same personalities like me, who have same mindsets like me. And I'm very blessed that I get these people, fortunately. Because most of the times when I think that it is very difficult to met to get a person like me, like I don't have many kind of friends. So I just want to say that that's my experience with that educational system. And I don't really like that. From my childhood, which I told you, till the age of 6th grade, I cried a lot. I till the till the grade of 6th, I cried daily, on the daily basis. And right now I am in second year of my college. I am 18 right now. I have started making videos when I was 17. But my plan for the future is, I will just spend all of my time on building my AI receptionist, on building my AI agency at that age. Then the plan which I have is, I will drop out. I will not if I will drop out. How and why? I will drop out before my university. I will make that much money enough. I will make enough money before my university, so that I will convince my parents to agree on that. That's a plan. Inshallah, I will fulfill that. And I am right now working on that particularly. I am working on getting clients, because till now I have learned how to build these agents. But For selling, I have tried many multiple things, but most of the things didn't work. But right now I am going for the content creation, specifically for the business owners, to tell them how much loss they are doing by not implementing these systems. So that's a plan. Let's see how it will be in the future, and I hope it will be better. Voiceonic will be a very big name. It will be a very big agency in the future. And when I have started just few months ago, I don't know how to really speak in English. Right now I am getting better in many things. I am bringing more clarity in my in my words, in the sentences, and I'm getting just better. And that's a plan of my that's what I want to do, and I hope things will get better, things will be going better. We'll see you in another video. Bye for now.